What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I try to be as honest as possible when I'm putting out these videos. I try to get as much information as I can. I try to not get your hopes up when it comes to these different proposals. And I still have people asking me about this forced stimulus check. And so I want to address it. I did a video a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing videos ever since the third stimulus check, talking about this forced stimulus check and the possibilities. And I've always stuck to this. I think it's highly unlikely that we will see a forced stimulus check. Now, I know this is not good news for a lot of people, but I want to be real with you guys. And I've been real with you since April about this same topic. And so that's what I want to focus on today. So I have 5 different things that we're going to talk about today. And these are the 5 reasons why I think it's going to be highly unlikely to see a forced stimulus check. But first off, on this channel, we talk about news that matters. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comments, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. Now, when it comes to the forced stimulus check, I've stuck to the same wording. Highly unlikely, highly unlikely. If they are going to present a forced stimulus check, it's also going to be targeted. We're not going to see a forced stimulus check like the third stimulus check. It's just not going to happen. So if we were to see a forced stimulus check, I'm thinking it's going to be for people on fixed income, people that are on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, so people who are on the lower income level. And so let's look into the 5 reasons why I think this $3.5 trillion American Families Plan will most likely not have a forced stimulus check. And so the first thing that we need to focus on, it's not in the blueprint. So we've heard politicians talk about this $3.5 trillion bill. They've released these different proposals. We have not heard anything when it comes to a forced stimulus check. And the fact that we haven't heard anything, that should be troubling to a lot of people, because you obviously see they're not focused on a forced stimulus check. They're focused on a lot of other things. They want to extend the child tax credit. They're talking about child care. They're talking about elder care. They're talking about a lot of things in this $3.5 trillion bill. But guess what? They're not talking about a forced stimulus check for anyone. They even talked about a $1,000 voucher for Medicare for people on Social Security, but they're not talking about a forced stimulus check. So that's one clue there. And so another thing we need to focus on is the progressives. So you have the Democratic Party, you have progressives, you have moderates. The progressives have been pushing for monthly payments. They've been pushing for this forced stimulus check. But guess what? They're not talking about it anymore. They were talking about this early on in the year, but they're not talking about it now. And that should be something else. That's another clue, because you have politicians that are talking about other things. We saw AOC wants to put out a proposal for the enhanced unemployment to reinstate that. You don't hear anything about a forced stimulus check. And that's where it's going to come from. It's going to come from the progressives, because they're the ones in the past that have been spearheading the forced stimulus check. So because we're not hearing progressives talk about it, and because progressives aren't even being asked about it, I mean, the media is not even asking about a forced stimulus check. And that should be another sign. The media usually will try to see, like, if there's a possibility of something, they're going to put that out there, and they're going to ask some of these politicians, what do you think about a forced stimulus check? And will we see a forced stimulus check in this $3.5 trillion American Families Plan? They're not asking. The media is not asking, and politicians aren't talking about it. So that's another clue that I think we should look at. And something else we need to talk about, and they've been talking about this a lot, Senator Manchin doesn't want a $3.5 trillion American Families Plan. Senator Sinema doesn't want a $3.5 trillion American Families Plan. So guess what? They want it around $1.5 trillion. So that means they're going to have to cut a lot of money out of this proposal, or at least negotiate it down. And so it's not going to be $3.5 trillion. So if it's not going to be $3.5 trillion, and they already have a blueprint, so they have the different items for this proposal, for this bill, if it's not going to be $3.5 trillion, they're going to be taking out, not adding to. And so that's something else to think about. So if Senator Manchin's saying, no, we want it $1.5 trillion or around that area, guess what? They're going to be taking from it. So most likely they're not going to add stimulus checks to that. Even if it's targeted, it's still money. Let's say it's $100 billion instead of $400 billion. If it's $100 billion, we're still looking at a situation where they're trying to cut and not add. So it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely that we'll see it at this point. And another reason, now this is the fourth reason. The White House made a decision several months back, about 5 months ago, where they said, you know what, it's going to be up to Congress to decide if we're going to get a forced stimulus check. And because they said that it's going to be up to Congress, they punted the ball. So the White House stepped back and said, this is going to be Congress's decision. And because they said that it's going to be Congress's decision, now they really can't. I mean, they could, if they wanted to, come back and say, look, we want a forced stimulus check. But they haven't done that. So you haven't heard President Biden out there saying, yes, we need a forced stimulus check. And it's going to be hard for them to do that now because they've let so much time go by and now it's not being discussed. So it would be kind of odd to hear President Biden say, yes, I've wanted a forced stimulus check all along, or we need to push for a forced stimulus check when he hasn't talked about anything in the last 5 to 6 months. And the last reason, and the fifth reason when it comes to the forced stimulus check and why I think it's highly unlikely, is you have to look at the proposal. Look at the title of the proposal, the American Families Plan. Look at what they're focused on. They're focused on child care. They're focused on the child tax credit, extending the child tax credit. They're focused on the elderly. They're focused on a lot of things, but they're not focused on enhanced unemployment. They're not focused on other things to stimulate the economy, like stimulus checks. And so in my opinion, I don't think they ever really wanted to focus on a forced stimulus check, even though we had politicians 5 months ago sending letters to the president saying that there should be monthly payments, saying that there should be a forced stimulus check. I don't think the blueprint was there. I don't think it was ever there for a forced stimulus check. And so to answer the questions that I continue to get every day, will there be a forced stimulus check? I'm going to stick to what I've been saying all along. It's highly unlikely, and these are the reasons why it's highly unlikely. So I want to know what you guys think about this. So in the comment section, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.